Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Monday, and we're at the 14th of July, 2025. Interesting day. We're up in the stock indices. They're all lower tonight. I'm not talking these, but I'm talking the futures markets are. Interest rates have been climbing, and they're continuing to climb in the futures even tonight. On the metal markets, you gave back a little bit. The gold miners were up, but gold itself down. Copper miners down. Silver got up to 51.74, doing a little backing off right now. Microsoft backed off. Uranium doing very well. Probably the next zone that it's got to clear is the $40 level to give you even more to the upside on it. Starbucks came back down. I was expecting that. We talked about that. Now it's got to restructure itself down here if it's going to be any good. Restoration Hardware down about $4. Home Depot came back into that 370 level and holding. Now, you do understand that it was a great time for Amazon. Amazon, they had a 4-day record. They sold more products, individual products, than they've ever done before. So all things are going there. We're going to hear more about their the cloud services. That's going to be very big. Speaking of that, Tesla's making lots of noise that they realize they're behind on what they're doing with artificial intelligence, and they're making a move to try to raise more money to get things going there as well. So a lot of AI things going on. For NVDA, we have Jensen Huang. That's the chair. He'll be in China this week, meeting with the officials. He's almost acting like an ambassador temporarily for President Trump. And he was, I'm sure, given something that he can do. I'm hoping it's some form of chip that he can sell to the Chinese that has been approved by President Trump, which would, again, help open this door of trade. Speaking of trade, you know, this was the 30% weekend. So now you know what Canada's got, Mexico's got, and the European Union in tariffs. This is above and beyond. Those are the tariffs of things that haven't already been negotiated out. So when we talk about Canada and Mexico, a lot of what we get from both countries is covered under the USMCA deal, and then we've got special deals for energy and so on. So it's not as bad as it sounds. Now, what you're going to get, though, this week is going to be first tomorrow. You're going to get your CPI numbers. We'll start off with the New York Fed Empire Manufacturing Survey. They're still looking for a negative number of 9. In May, it was 16. But now we're looking for the forecast of how CPI going to look, and they're looking for it up 3 times what it was in May. Is that the tariffs? Could be. Core CPI, they're looking for that up 3 times what it was in May. Then we're going to look at the annualized forecast, and they're looking for that up to be 2.7% from the year-ago month. That's almost a 3% move. And again, core year-over-year is expected up 3%. So it's either 0.3 or 3%. Just remember the number 3. Under that means you're not getting that tariff inflation. Maybe you'll never get it. I don't know. Over this means it's not only here, but it's here with a vengeance, and we'll see what it means. We'll see how that does. Red Book Group, they'll come out with their sales at 755, and the API numbers will come out at 330. Look for retail sales to, again, they've been running 4.5% to 5.5% basically. I expect them to stay on a pretty good track, not to really get caught up. So when we look at Netflix, this is a bounce. Remember, you have earnings. I think it's the 17th. I'm doing this from memory. So 3 days from now, we'll see where they go. There's resistance up to the 1,300 level. The daily chart doesn't look anywhere near as good as the weekly chart. You're still in a downtrend here. To negate it, you've got to get over 1289.60. The market was today up $16, but it was a lot higher than that. It was another almost 9 higher than that at one point. So it was nice to see the gain, but did the market just get itself overdone? Where's it probably going to fight? In the 1274 level for a bit, which is the 18-day average. So unless you can clear that 1289, this chart picture on the daily chart is not bullish. And if the market were to get back under 1230, you could all of a sudden be at the 1210 level before you knew what was going on. So got to pay attention. In terms of momentum down, And you're going to be knocking on the door of being oversold in the morning. Any reading in slow stochastics that are under 30, the way that I do slow stochastics, is oversold. So I'll be watching that very carefully. Then, in Materials Corp, as you can see, the market is still sitting over the upper band. This is the third day in a row. And obviously, you know the news from last week. The federal government has now invested $400 million in this company. It's going to pave the way for them to get us rare earths wherever we can drill. And that's going to be the thing. That drill, baby, drill that you heard from President Trump for the oil companies that aren't doing that, by the way. Well, now he's got to go mine, baby, mine, and that's what he's going to use right here. In Dash, you've got the market trying to slip back into the 18-day average. Momentum has been pointing down. I just don't see this right now as the place to be. Google, I am friendly. I mean, their AI engine is there. Their fight is, can OpenAI and the other systems that are coming out do damage to their business model? And that's a good question. What the market did do, and we can see, is it did hold last week the challenge of the 200-day average in gray and the 18-day average, and it has now launched back to a higher high. It is overbought in the process. Starbucks, I was looking for a pullback. That's what I was telling you all last week when we were covering this. And this is the zone it's got to prove that it can do something with. Remember, it had that little bit of a pop as the idea was they could be selling their Chinese interests there. I haven't heard too much more on that. We should look into that. Robinhood, this is a big week for cryptos. This is President Trump's week. So now we're going to see Congress start taking up the stable coins, moving the jurisdiction away from the SEC and them back to the Commodity Futures, the Commodity Futures Commission. Other parts, I write about it in my newsletter. This all starts tomorrow. And I hear how much money the president has involved in his cryptos. He's going to be leaning on that, I would think, for his own wallet. He'll say no. Of course, he stays out. Tesla. Tesla's saying they have to get more money. They're looking for ways to do it to get their AI getting even further along. I'm glad to hear that. I want to see this company survive. I want to see Musk make it what it should be. He's getting his butt kicked all over the world because Tesla cars, the Japanese are beating you in beauty. They're beating you in comfort. I don't know about reliability, so that part I won't say. But you can see where you're at in it. And, they're long in the tooth to me. They're not a Volkswagen. Don't try to make it. Give it a new look. Refresh it. Where's your sports car? Where's your sub $29,000 car? You got to have these things come out. Higher lows, higher highs. And the market sitting here, still embedded, still acting strong as I see it. In the financial sector, I was looking for a test when you lost the embedded reading. Let's see if I can get this to come back, and I can do it. Let me show you this. When you lose the embedded reading, and my course teaches you how to plot all this. If you close under 79, the odds are you're going to go to the 18-day average before you go back to the high. Does that mean it works every time? Nothing I know works every time. Does it mean it's a high percentage? From my point of view, exceptionally. I'll leave it at that, all right? But that's what I'd be looking for, and it's what I teach in my course. So now we take a look. You can see what the market was doing, and tell me that's just not what you did. And the market's now, what I say, it's met its downside target. Now it's got to restructure itself. In XLI, I am still very much in the bull camp on this. It's fully embedded. The industrial sector, how could you not be? I mean, that's everything that the president's trying to do is build American industry. So yes, you can get overbought. There'll be times you don't want to own it, but I think you got to throw away your idea that there's big, huge breaks coming in it. On the energy select sector, and remember, these are the refineries and the lines that carry energy, transportation, all kinds of things like that. Well, you can see how the market's still got the pattern, higher lows, higher highs. It sort of got stymied here, and it did this back here at the 200-day average. It could climb. I'm not seeing why it should right here. It's overbought. I don't think new money's going into it just yet. In the gold market, On GLD, you're back over the 18-day average. You got to prove it can stay here. The chart on futures looks ugly on the to the downside. Market failed against that 33.90 level an ounce. This is holding up a bit better, but it is based on the futures. The silver shares, you know how friendly I am. Again, you rarely stay over the Bollinger Band. Look for the market to come back inside of it. That's where I think you're at. On the copper market, the miners, I'm not looking for much more than this 18-day average. You weren't embedded. You were just overbought. You're in a zone where I think the market is going to try to find its footing, and that's how I'll leave that. TLT, BND, they're still in downtrends. They're oversold, both of them. And you could be going to the lower Bollinger Band. You need not, but you could be going there. In the dollar, back over the 18-day average, acting actually pretty good. And in FXE, well, here you are coming back for a run at the 18-day average. And I think the CPI tomorrow could be the market mover telling us what's going to happen with all that. So you put it together, you try to come up with game plans, but how do you keep up with the market? I'll tell you what we give our clients: access to our mobile app. It's included free. And my clients are able to take a look at this, and these are my screens, by the way. So you're looking at my exact screens as to what's going on, and they look that way. I can read them. And that's the important thing. I have screens that I get from other companies because I have quite a few on my phone. I can't read half of them. Forget reading good charts. Order entry can be a nightmare on some of them. Tell me that's not an easy chart to read. I think so. What about my research? If you're a subscriber, it all plays right through here if that's how you want to get it. And you can talk to this app. You can say to it, just like you do on AI, hey, play my quote file. It will play your quote file for you. So as you're driving and keep up, turn it off. I don't want to hear it right now. You can do all these type of things. Our audio reports are all in there. Here's what I was telling you, voice control. This is just cool stuff made for the everyday person, me. So how do you get it to give it a try? It's really simple. If you're not a subscriber with us already, well, you are entitled to it at no cost. Go to IraEpstein.com, free offers. It'll be right there for you, or click up here and take it from there. I'm Ira. I'll catch up with you all tomorrow. Have yourself a great, great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.